All right, so here we go. This is the last of the He-Man Megaconstrux Masters of the Universe review. We'll be looking at Castle Greyskull. We'll be looking at some of the figures, and we'll be looking at the Point Dread playset piece. And since we already looked at the Talon Fighter earlier, there are a couple little things to talk about with this set. I'll be talking about all of it in just a little bit, but I do quite like this. I like playing with it. Building it is a pain in the ass, like I've said with a couple other sets, but we're not going to be talking about that until the end when I kind of get into the nitty gritty of it a little bit. Anyways, we're going to stop here. We're going to turn the camera around, and we're going to look at Castle Greyskull in all its fun glory. Okay, so here we go. Castle Greyskull. We're going to look at, we can kind of pan up on it. Hey, look, it's Slimer. Yeah, so this is Castle Greyskull. It does open up. There's actually a flag we'll talk about in a little bit. But this is its the front. We'll look at the sides here. Take a little sneaky peeky down the side. And let's go ahead and get you a close-up on the color. Back. Some of the features on the back we're going to talk about here, because we won't be seeing it too much until a little bit later, but I do want to point out this cool tower. I do like how they did some of these parts, like this piece here. The thatching on the roof was really well done. Some more thatching. For as much as it was a hassle to put together, this set really was. The finished product does really look awesome, right? I just wish it wasn't such a pain to get together in the first place. So there's a couple other little features I want to talk about before we open it up and really get into it. Like this bit back here. I'm actually getting some stuff set up on my computer for a future project, which is why the computer's up and running. Pretty soon, I'll actually hopefully be able to put videos up on the computer. Let's get this out of the way. This came with Point Dread. We'll look at some of the stuff on there in a minute. And look, it's the sorceress in her hawk form. So we got a little gun up on top. We'll look at some of the stuff a little bit more later. I just want to show this. So this is actually what I wanted to look at. This is, I don't recommend picking it up by it because it comes off, but that is actually just a little nod to the original Castle Greyskull that was produced. And this, so we're going to look at that point in just a sec. But that was a nod to the original Castle Greyskull toy that was made because you could take and carry it by that and, use it as a carrying case. So as what we're going to do is we're going to take a He-Man here. Let me make sure I get the right one. Well, it doesn't matter. So we're going to take this He-Man here. Oh, sorry. He-Man. Really nicely molded. I believe this is the one that's based on the toy. He's got his force field belt, power sword. So we're going to take He-Man's power sword and remove it from him. And we're going to open this just like you would the original Castle Greyskull, which was a cool feature. Let me get my hand out of the way. So in the original Castle Greyskull, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take the completed power sword, which would require Skeletor and He-Man's power swords together. They didn't duplicate it in this one, but the comic books, originally Skeletor and He-Man were fighting for control of Castle Greyskull. It wasn't a hero's place. It could be anyone's place. And that's actually one of the play features we're going to talk about in a little bit. But on the original Castle Greyskull, you would take He-Man's sword, Skeletor's sword. It would be, one was silver or gray, and one was like a pink. And you would put them together to make the completed power sword. And with that sword, you could stick it in a keyhole and open the drawbridge. So this would be how you would get your heroes into the castle proper, and and they go. So now that we got this drawbridge open, let's go ahead and take a little quick look at the face again. So very cool. This face is based more on the 2000 and Mike Flynn series, I want to say, more than the 1980 series. So you're going to find that this takes some cues from the older series in the 1980s and the 2000 series, which is fine. So let's go ahead and open this one up. So let me make sure I'm opening it from the right side. I believe we open it on the other side. So the clips are the same on both sides, so it's always difficult for me to figure out there. If I'm opening on the right one, I just have to see. So there's this little clip here, and it connects to that there, and there's only one on the side that you're supposed to open. So let's go ahead and open up Castle Greyskull, and we'll take a look inside. So here we go. So this is the first floor we're looking at. We've got the training arm, which was actually one of the features in the original 1980s one. You know, you could have your minifigures come in, and we'll take He-Man again since he's right here. All right, He-Man, you're up. You know, and they could train if you could hit it. Wah, wah, wah. You know, boop, 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 boop. And He-Man wins because he's He-Man. He-Man. So yeah, you had like the little training arm from the 1980s toy line is in here. You can just leave it in there, play with it in there. It's really cool. I'm glad that they included that. That was actually a really, this is actually one of the features I remember as a kid from the 1980s Castle Greyskull. There's a jail cell. It does open. And in it, we've got some chains. And let's go ahead and get a closer look so you can kind of see. So the original toy had a sticker. And the sticker had these little monster arms, which these are, and they replicated it with actual monster arms. So, you know, there's some kind of creature or whatever underneath the floorboards there. Kind of sticking his arms up, right? So let's go and close that. That skull is a really cool feature. I don't remember it being on the original toy. It might have been, but I don't think it was. Let's see here. So we're just looking at the first floor still. Hey, look. The Ghostbusters are about to bust in. So we've got these, which are little like training weapons things. You can stand those up here and here. So these came with the original toy as well. Back up the camera a little bit. And, you know, we've got some, I don't remember if they came with, I think there were stickers on the original toy. It wasn't removable parts, but on this one we've got, you know, everything that came with Battle Bones, basically. Except for this one. This is a newer one. Got a couple of, you know. So, you know, you can kit out your guys a little bit more if you really wanted to. But the only other thing on the bottom level is we have this back here. And we'll get a little closer. And we can take, where's Skeletor? There he is. We'll take the Funimation Skeletor. So I've got two Skeletors. I've got the comic book Skeletor right here. This is the comic book one. Light purple, a little bit of gray there on the chest. Lighter purple Havoc staff. Still has a nice little face sculpt with little beady red eyes in there. So this is the Skeletor from the comic books. And then we have the Skeletor from the Funimation cartoon. All the dark purple. This is based on the toy and the Funimation cartoon, I should say. It's all dark purple. Come on and focus, camera. Focus on Skeletor. There you go. So yeah, so we're going to take Skeletor, and we're going to use his magics here. Beepity boppity boo. That did not work too well, but yeah, you can bust the wall out from Castle Greyskull here. So that's a little play feature. You know, they can break in, break down the wall, and get in and ransack the place. So that's a little cool play feature that I think was in the 2000X, but not the original toy. All right, so let's go ahead and move Skeletor off to the side. And let's move the weapons out of the way. And we're going to back up a little bit here. And let me get my handy dandy tripod lift. One sec. All right, we're going to lift this up now. And up. So we can look at the second floor. All right, so we've got this cool little computer array. This does open up to allow you to get some figures in behind it if you want. It doesn't really have anything behind there, just space. Cool little planetoid here. Turning in all that from space. Yeah, so we got a cool little computer layout. This is a sticker that was in the original toy. I don't know what it was supposed to be, but it's just some kind of armored spaceman. Maybe it's supposed to represent a spacesuit or whatever from Earth, since some of the heroes did come from, well, not some of the heroes, some of the Queen came from Earth. He-Man's mom. So let's see here. Let me back up a little bit. And there we go. Got a really cool coat of arms there. The 2 swords. And we've got the chair with the 2, flags there. And we can actually create a little scene kind of deal from the comic, if I can get this to work. So, Skeletor, you get in the chair there. Well, let's take out this Havoc staff, or at least turn it. It's getting in the way. So we'll put it in his other hand. There we go. Get in your hand, you. There. So now we're going to sit Skeletor firmly in the chair, lording over everything. All right, so maybe. All right, let's just straighten out your legs for now. We'll do this and get you in that chair. You get in there. There. All right, so there we go, and then we'll just, you're about to see one of the play features in reverse. Oh, come on, you. There. All right, so there was a play feature on the original Castle Greyskull. I'm not sure if it was in the 2000X one, but it was highlighted by having Skeletor sitting in this chair, and we'll put Warrior Tila in the Snake Priestess outfit. All right, she probably won't fall all the way down, but in the comic, Tila's standing over there, and they featured that the play feature was for this. You could just, why isn't it going over all the way there? You could do that, and Tila would be stuck. Come on. Fall. Ah, there we go. And she falls into the prison below. Okay. And that was in the original comic book. I didn't do it too well, but so yeah, that was a play feature, which was kind of fun that they reproduced. All right, so then we go over a little bit further. Nothing too major here, right? There is actually, though, something. You can't see it too well because this wall's in the way. But if I turn like this, you can see that there is a secret entrance for He-Man to come in to save Tila. But it's too late, and he can't fit through the door holding a sword. He-Man can't stand, he's drunk. So he's too late. Skeletor has already sent Tila down to the pit below. And he's ready to cast. There we go. You get in there. And he's ready to fight He-Man for control of Castle Greyskull once again. Run away. So yeah, so that's the second floor. And let's just go ahead and stand Skeletor here for a sec. There we go, with his little webby feet. And give him back his Havoc staff. So there is a Skeletor toy that does come with his half of the power sword. I'm not sure what set it comes in, but I have seen it. I may eventually get that set. If I buy any more He-Man sets, I'll review them. I might even build them on camera. So yeah, so let's go ahead and look a little bit closer at the Tila we dropped in here. So I showed one with the, come on out. Come on. Oh. But yeah, I showed one with Battle Bones. This is actually the one that came with Battle Bones. And it has less paint apps. It's based more on the toy rather than later incarnations of Tila. So, she's got her snake priestess. Pardon, one sec. She got like snake priestess garb on. Got a much longer staff than the other Tila. And a shield. So this is what she came with. And there's actually one other Tila we're going to look at here. And this is based off of the original mini comic. In the mini comic, He-Man is a barbarian who's given a power belt to wear, right? And so there we go. So this is the Green Goddess. She is the one that in the mini comic gives He-Man his special power belt. Because originally in the mini comic, it wasn't going to be the sword that gave He-Man his powers. It was actually going to be different pieces of clothing. And so the first one he got was from the Green Goddess, who is a green version of Tila. You can take off the headdress. Oh, and her head, apparently. But this will give us a little look at the body sculpt stuff there. There we go. I swear you can take this off. It's just very tight. There we go. So you can take off the headdress. Very cool. Nicely molded. And just gives Tila a regular Tila. Gold for that. Weird eyes. Like every other pupil. So there we go. I got her put together off screen real quick. But yeah, so the Green Goddess was part of the original play pattern that was going to be for He-Man, which I was kind of mentioning earlier. So originally what it was going to be is this was a brand made by Mattel. And they were basing it heavily off of their Big Jim toy line. And their Big Jim toy line had the guy, Big Jim, and the way you would change him up is much like Barbie. You would give him a different outfit. Right, so you would only need to buy one big, expensive Big Jim figure, and then you could spend much less money and get a new outfit and have Big Jim in space, Big Jim the Olympic medal swimmer and all that kind of stuff. And they were kind of thinking of doing the same thing for the He-Man line. And so what it was going to be is their powers and stuff would come from different outfit pieces. So He-Man, who was just a plain barbarian, was given this. This is his power belt, and it gave him a force field abilities. And so you'd have a character like Stratos, who in the toys, the wings were part of his arms and all that kind of stuff. But the original play pattern was going to be, okay, so he has bird wings, and bird wings allow him to fly like this. And then you could buy a pack with bat wings, and bat wings would give him the power to fly at night and see at night and all that kind of, So their powers were going to be based off their outfits. That did get changed, and instead it was based off of magic items like this power sword, right? So He-Man was almost going to be like a superhero Barbie line, where you'd have one main figure and then a bunch of accessories that would go with them. So, you'd only have to buy one He-Man, and then you could get like the Power Punch pack where you put it on and he's got, supposed to be stronger and stuff like that. But that's not what we ended up with. Anyway, so we've got this He-Man. This is based on the toy. And he does come with a shield, which is actually in another He-Man's hand. This is the He-Man that is based a little bit more on his mini-comic. Not this original mini-comic look, though. This is his mini-comic look from after they kind of mixed the cartoon into the mini-comic. Because He-Man looked much more barbarian-like. Long hair, all this kind of stuff. So this is another version of He-Man here. Power shield, open mouth, the sword. And much like Faker that I showed in the last video, you can actually just stick his power sword. I swear you can. If I could. There we go. Stick the power sword into his back, and he can then hold his axe. So this He-Man, instead of having the orange arm there, he has 2 gold bands. That's another difference. It's got yellow. So, a couple little differences. I like this He-Man a little bit more, to be honest. I just have a much more appreciation for the toy. We already looked at Skeletor. Let's see here. Where's the other man? I have another Man at Arms. It's based off the comic. And he's just a brighter green. Same exact stuff, just brighter green. So this is the other Man at Arms. Lighter blue helmet. Or actually, Sorry, it's a more vibrant green. It's not as... So this actually might be based off the toy. I don't remember. But one of them's a comic, one's a toy. And since I got them right here, we can... Oh, it's Castle Greyskull. We're going to look at the third floor in a little bit, I promise. So that's the difference. You can kind of... If you end up getting the... there is a Man-at-Arms single pack, and it's based on the cartoon where he has a mustache. You could get that and then use these as, like, palace guards, I guess, if you wanted to go that far. Here is one of my favorite figures. This is not Skeletor's ghost. It is Scareglow. He is really cool. I always wanted this guy as a kid, so I ended up buying the single pack with him in it. He's not Skeletor's ghost. He's like a ghost that Skeletor controls. I always thought it was Skeletor when he was dead, but it's not. Really cool minifigure, though. I love this one. Probably one of my favorites. Bah! Stabby, stabby. Yeah, so that's another cool guy. And let's see here. Who else? We got the last one to look at. Well, not last one. Second to last one to look at. Third to last, because I forgot about someone else. So, anyways, one of the last ones to look at. We've got Beastman. This is the comic book version with all the dark red. You know, he's got a whip that's a string coated in wax, it looks like, or plastic, but it's cool. Very cool. This is the Beastman that actually came with the Faker and all that kind of stuff that I wanted to get. Yeah, it's cool. Just a little, you know, you can use them as troop building. And then we've got this Beastman. This is based on the toy and the Funimation cartoon. I like this one more. More colors. Kind of looks like a baboon. You know, he's got a blue bottom. That's why I think baboon. Blue butt, blue butt. Yeah, he also just comes with the whip. So, all right, we've almost gone through all these figures I wanted to look at. Let's see here. We've got this Sorceress, and we've got Faker left. So let's go ahead and look at the other Faker. So, like I said, the Faker that came with the SDCC Battle Bones was battle damaged. This one is not, and he comes with the orange that his toy came with. Mean face, red eyes, orange power sword, and axe, Skeletor's jumpsuit. And then if you lift this, same detail as that on the other one. Yeah, I like this one. I bought the whole 5-pack of figures just so I could get him. Kind of screwed up on his eyebrow, it looks like, but that's okay. So yeah, this is Skeletor's Robot He-Man. I like this one. I like this one a lot. He's another one of my favorites. I was okay with getting 2 of them and spending the extra money to get him. So I had this figure as a kid. I think she came with Castle Greyskull, actually. One of the 3 females that were released with the original line was Tila, the Sorceress, and Evil Lynn. The Sorceress, like I said, you would squeeze her legs and her arms would flap open like that. Little play feature. And then she does have her hawk that comes in this set as well. That is like her other form. So, cool. I was happy to get her. And then we've got the hawk. I like the hawk colors on this. And there's just like a little stand that it goes on the 3rd floor. We'll look at in a second. All right, so that's all the minifigures to look at there before we got too far into this. So let's go ahead and lift the tripod up a little bit more. And there we go. Oh my gosh, I might have to actually lift it again. All right, I lifted it a little bit more. Got it all set up. This set is stupid tall for Legos, or even just a regular set. So, yeah, so this is the gun emplacement we talked about earlier. You know, can turn pretty good amount up and down here. Figures can stand. Where are we at? Where's Man-at-Arms? You know, you can stand figures on this to man the weapon. And then if we go over just a little bit, we have this. This is actually really cool too. This is actually related to the 2000X series. They kind of mentioned it a little bit in the original series as well, but I know it's more the 2000X. That is the globe that holds the original powers of the Power Sword. The Power Sword was originally much more powerful, and King Greyskull transferred the power of the Power Sword to that orb. And the Power Sword instead now taps into the orb's power and borrows from it a little bit to transform anyone who wields it and says the magic charm and all that kind of stuff into a superhero, into a He-Man kind of deal, by tapping into the powers rather than having all the powers just stored in the sword. And so the sorceress guards this globe here that holds all that magical power and all that kind of stuff that has enough power to destroy the universe or whatever. But that's what gives He-Man's Power Sword the ability to turn He-Man into the strongest man in the universe. So we got that. And we'll just turn the camera. There's the Sorcerer's Bird. And then, if we back this up a little bit and we tilt down. Come on, you. There. As you can see a little bit, this is actually a feature that was in the original toy. It is an elevator. We just lift it up, and we can just push it back down. It's made very well, actually. I find that it, doesn't slide up and down. Kind of deal. So I want to talk about one of the play patterns before we put on Point Dread and look at it and all that kind of stuff. So, pardon my face. I dropped the flag. This flag. As you can see, one side seems to be heroic. And if we turn around, the other side is kind of like evil looking, right? So originally the play pattern, like I said, wasn't going to be, He-Man and Skeletor, fighting for Eternia and all that kind of stuff. They were fighting for control of Castle Greyskull. And the play pattern followed that. You could decide who had control of Castle Greyskull at the time and who would be attacking it by, the heroes have managed to wrest control from Castle Greyskull from the enemies, or, Skeletor and his crew have now taken control of Castle Greyskull, and we must free it to free the land, right? I think that was a really cool play feature. It's not anything I realized as a kid when I had the set originally. But yeah, so that's why the original Castle Greyskull came with a flag like this. Was so that you could decide who actually had taken control of the castle at the time. Was it Skeletor and his evil minions, or was it He-Man and the Masters of the Universe? You decide, right? So anyways, let's go ahead and pull Point Dread over. Point Dread. So the reason why the flag's not on there is because Point Dread is actually going to end up being where I put it. But this is Point Dread. It has the ability to travel wherever the talent is by teleporting, but it ends up a lot of times just stored on top of Castle Greyskull, which is where I had it. Very cool little, what's it called? Computer panel. I love this piece. This piece is really awesome. And if you turn around, you can store some weapons and stuff on there. It's got a Masters of the Universe album there, and that is another throwback besides Zodak, who came with it, who was mentioned on the Masters of the Universe vinyl record that came with the set. That's what this is. That's the vinyl record that you could get with the Point Dread and Talon Fighter set in the 1980s. I love that little touch. It's a fun little touch. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how we're going to put this on. So let's go ahead and we're going to take our guys here. Come on, Skeletor. Come on, He-Man. Off you go. And we're actually going to close up Castle Greyskull again. Boop. Closed. So, yeah, like I said, you can open up this door. Castle Greyskull, I almost forgot, comes with a ladder that you build. The original toy came with it too. And hey, look. Perfect height for scaling. Oh, perfect height for falling down. For scaling the wall and getting in by the secret door. All right, and then this is the weapons rack that came with Point Dread. A lot of the same weapons, shield, all that kind of stuff that the other ones came with. So all kinds of weapons come with this set. Anyways, we're going to turn the castle a little bit, and we're going to lift this up like so. Whew, this is tall. All right, so we are going to take, and point dread comes with those on the bottom, and you can stick these onto Castle Greyskull to lift it up enough to hold it in place. So I just got to put them on. They just slide in. They don't hold. So you can take off point dread real easy. And we just got to line everything up. So give me 1 second. I'm going to pause it and make sure I get it all lined up, and then we're going to put it together. All right, so one piece goes directly in the front center, and then 2 on each side there. And this should, if I put it all together properly, just line up just right, and then you set it down on top. And you can't even see it because the set is just so dang tall now. So I'll move the phone off the stand. So yeah, so it just plops right up top. And we can take, let me go grab it 1 second. All right, so I've actually also lifted this up as high as I can go, but I went and also grabbed the Talon Fighter, and we can take and set the Talon Fighter on that post and that post. And still too. And the Talon Fighter just sits on there. Now, I have Castle Greyskull, like I said, is usually stored up there, where you can see Battle Bones. With the Talon Fighter on there, it is too tall. So Talon Fighter never gets stored on Castle Greyskull when I have a display. So sad for Talon Fighter. So Talon Fighter, away. Anyways, so yeah, so you could, I guess, maybe take those off and stick the flag on there if you wanted to. I usually just throw the flag inside and let it sit. And, you know, that's a play pattern that will never be used in my display. I do usually just have, 1 second, we gotta put all these things away inside. So let me go ahead and pause. All right, so I just stored all the weapon racks into the thing there. Take this off for the last part of the video, I guess. And turn this. This is a long video, guys. I'm so sorry. So yeah, so that is Castle Greyskull. I have to admit, I think my favorite feature. Oh, I didn't even show that. Got a really cool jaw bridge too there. But yeah, I think my favorite feature is definitely the power sword thing here. Let me see if I have a. No, I don't have just one laying around. He-Man. He can't get in. So sad. So yeah, so let me go ahead and pause. I'm gonna clean up my area here and just go into my final review of this set. And as once more, war rages across the Eternia for the control of the vaunted Castle Greyskull. Our valiant warriors and masters of the universe face off against Skeletor and his evil minions. So yeah, I like this set. I do play with it. My final review, the figures are fun. If nothing else, the minifigures are a lot of fun. The set itself, I enjoy playing with it now that it's finished. Getting it to this point was a pain and a half. There's a lot of little really push to get on there. Once they're on there, but while you're pushing it, you might break apart other parts and all, then you got to rebuild, and it's annoying to build. But the finished product is fantastic. The play features are a lot of fun to play with. As you can see, you can just set up some really cool little battles in front of it, and it looks real nice. Let me just move my stand out of the way here. It looks real nice, built up. So yeah, you get some figures and all that kind of stuff, and you can get a really cool, little display piece going. Do I suggest buying it if all you're going to do is display it? Depends on how much you like Masters of the Universe. I do play with mine every now and then. I don't really plan on taking it apart and rebuilding it after having rebuilt a lot of the little sets that I have because of the annoyance that it is to do so. I thought about doing it on a stream. I might do that eventually. I just have to decide whether or not it's really worth it for me to take this apart to fight and put it back together again later. But yeah, I enjoy the finished product. The windows and such look really cool. The skull is really fun. Dropping the jaw bridge is really cool. And I've learned a couple little fun facts, like, the whole He-Man was going to originally be, based around changing up their clothing rather than based on, different molds, right? So you'd only have one He-Man, and then you'd, get them an upgrade here and there. I learned about I actually learned about She-Ra stuff. I don't have any She-Ra stuff, but the reason why She-Ra is somewhat problematic to include in the He-Man Masters of the Universe stuff is because two different portions of Mattel ended up running it. Mattel wanted to do a line based closer to girls because in the 1980s, 40% of He-Man sales were actually to girls, which is really cool, I think. It's really cool to think that a line that was definitely aimed at boys had enough of a fantasy and all this kind of stuff that girls wanted to enjoy it too. Hell, go for it, right? But so the developers wanted to tap into that market, and they were going to make She-Ra, which was going to be a super heroine doll, right? It wasn't, but the Mattel female line group, which is, Barbie, all that kind of stuff, decided they wanted a piece of the pie and kind of horned in and said, nope, we're going to make the female superhero part. And because of that, there's actually some licensing issues that have occurred with Mattel and Masters of the Universe and all that kind of stuff. Which is why you don't have He-Man and She-Ra together on the cartoons and all that right now. Let's see, what else? The play pattern was different. At first, like the costumes, and then who has control of Castle Grayskull, rather than that being the hero's base of control. And there was a couple other little fun things that I dug up that don't really have too much to do with this, but yeah. So that's it. This is it for my Masters of the Universe Constructs review. This set was a lot of fun to play with. It's not a lot of fun to build. So keep that in mind if you decide to purchase it. The finished product looks fantastic. It does take up a bit of room, so also keep that in mind. It is not a small set because it is a whole Castle Grayskull. It's not just the front half. It is a whole castle. But other than that, play with it. Have fun with it. If you're in the area, stop on by. We'll play with it together. Because Tom's here with his toys, and he's here to share. But he's here also to sign off and go relax for a little bit and play on his own. And, I got to figure out who's going to win this battle. Because you never know. It could be the villain's turn to take control of Castle Grayskull.